Hey everyone, welcome to this video, and if you're interested to see how I achieved this twist out, please stay tuned. So I'm just starting out on freshly washed hair from the night before. So I shampooed and deep conditioned my hair the night before and was too tired to finish it. So I just slept in 3 big braids, and I'm just starting by parting my hair from ear to ear, and it's easiest for me to split it into 2 sections, and then I'll go back to the other ear to finish it. And then after this, I will proceed to do my side part. I've always worn my side part on the left side of my hair, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean up that part so it's in an area where my hair kind of naturally parts. So this is what I found to be easiest for creating my side part. And once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and put that hair to the side so that it doesn't get in the way of the other hair, and then I'll begin to go in and separate out the individual cornrows in each section. So I do like to pre-part my hair just to make sure that all of the braids are about the same size. Of course, they're not perfect and they're not going to be. I'm not striving for perfection always, but this does help me to get a good sense of how many braids I'm going to be putting in a section. So I will just go ahead and part out these sections and then section them with the little metal clips that you'll see, and that just helps to keep all of the hair out of the way. And then once I'm happy with that, I'm going to go ahead and use just some good old edge control to clean up the part. And I like to start from my ear and go across, and this is just so that none of the extra hair is getting in the way. So I like to clean up my baby hairs and take them out before I start braiding, just so that I have a really clean braid and I'm not pulling on my edges any more than necessary. And so this isn't quite a stitch braid, but I am trying to take small sections, just making sure that they are against my scalp, and I'll go ahead and not fully finish the braid, but just enough so that it's out of the way. So once I complete cornrowing on all of the different sections, I'll then go ahead to the other side, and I'm going to be doing these perpendicular to the braids that I had on the other side, and that's just to create the design that I was going for. I wanted them to almost look like they were going in opposite directions, almost like a wave parting. So I'm just going to go ahead and first clean up that first one to make sure that it is nice and straight, and this also breaks off those 2 groups into smaller sections, so then I can start to visualize how many braids I can fit in each section. And similarly, I'm just parting out my baby hairs before I start braiding, just to make sure that the braids are nice and neat and clean. I don't like to have super dramatic edges, but I do like a little bit, just because I feel like it makes the style look a little bit prettier. It makes it look almost like effortless in the morning. I don't choose to do my edges before I go to work, but I do like this look. And I think it also ages well throughout the week. So since I start with like less baby hairs, it starts to grow throughout the week. So I just go ahead and I gel down my individual sections, and I try not to put a ton of edge control on my hair in the front because it'll tend to then flake up or get dry throughout the week, and I mainly just try to focus it on the hair as opposed to my actual scalp. So just gonna go ahead and part out this section and get to braiding the rest of the front here. So this is the final braid pattern. I was pretty happy with it, so I decided to go ahead and get started on twisting the back part of my hair. So I'm just taking it down and I'm sectioning my hair. I like to use the Design Essentials curl cream, and I'll go ahead and put that in the description. But I just start with sectioning off my hair, and I split it actually diagonal. When I went and saw a hairstylist a couple weeks ago, she noticed that there might be some breakage along the middle of my hair, so I've started parting along the diagonal, and I think that's really helped, but also allowed me to still work from the bottom to the top of my hair. So I then just take about a pea-size amount, which I know if you're a natural hair girly, you're used to people always saying that amount. But I just go ahead and take that amount and I work it into my hair with some water, making sure that the hair is well saturated but not dripping wet. And that's just a personal preference. I try not to make a huge mess when I'm doing my hair, and I just work that into the hair to make sure that it's fully coating the strands. And as I twist the hair down, I try to make sure that I'm both smoothing down the twist but also making sure to detangle it as I go along. So again, saturating the hair with water, and then I kind of alternate between using the unbrush and then the tangle teaser. It just depends on the section of my hair because I do have multiple curl patterns throughout my hair. So I just like to make sure that I am using the appropriate brush based on the coiliness of the section of hair that I'm working with. And so, for example, you'll see here, I'm decided to start using the unbrush first and then using the tangle teaser throughout the hair. And I'm just kind of scrunching the water in and making sure to really work the product into the hair so that it's not just sitting on the shaft of the cuticle. And one thing to note is when you are doing any type of natural hairstyle where you are potentially manipulating your curl to conform to a different curl pattern, whether that's a twist out, a perm rod set, or even a flexi rod set, it really helps to fully detangle the section, because ideally what you're doing is elongating your curl to then wrap around whatever object or curl pattern that you would like to achieve. So by elongating your curl and really smoothing it out, it just helps to make sure that you have uniform curls and the outcome isn't just a wash and go. And for about each of the sections in my head, I'm just sectioning them across from ear to ear horizontally, and I usually put about 3 twists per section. It just depends on how thick the section is, because ideally your twists are the same size so that they have the same curl diameter when you take them out so that it looks really nice and uniformed. I will say my curl type is a little bit different throughout my head, so They're not perfectly the same curl pattern, but I personally kind of like that, and I think it adds to the hairstyle when it doesn't all look identical. So I'm just finishing up on this side of my head, and then I will repeat the exact same steps. I'm just putting my hair back here in a satin scrunchie so that I can run my errands for the day, and I will just sleep in a bonnet tonight. So it is the next day. I went ahead and just added 4 of those clear small beads to the end of the braids in the front. And now that my twists are fully dry, I'm just taking a little bit of oil. I'm not really discriminatory when it comes to oil. Whatever I have lying around is what I use. So I had used some of the Wen oil that my mom had left on a previous visit. So I'm just going to section off my hair and then begin untwisting, and this is so that I don't miss any twists throughout the process, but of course I'm gonna miss a couple, and you'll see that I go back to do those. So when it comes to unraveling the twists, I like to stretch the twists at the bottom, and this kind of helps to see where the curls naturally separate, and then I will separate the curls there. If it's kind of a stubborn twist, I might kind of twist it in the opposite direction, and this is just to help avoid some unnecessary frizz. I personally like volume in my hairstyles, and I will stretch my hair so I am not frizz adverse, but I do try to avoid as much frizz as possible on the first day while still getting the desired look that I'm going for. And I don't separate all of my curls to the maximum amount on the first day, and that's just to make sure that they hold throughout the week. So you'll just see that I'm going through each of the sections and separating them, like I mentioned, where they naturally separate, and trying to get the majority of them. Since I am going to stretch my hair at the end, I can always go back and separate more curls, but I can't put the curls back together. So that's just a helpful hint when you're trying to decide whether to separate or whether just to leave it as a full clump. So now that my hair is fully separated, I'm just going to go through and start stretching my hair. So you'll see there are a couple of curls that I do decide to separate a little bit more before stretching, and that's just my personal preference. I thought that updo actually kind of looked cute, so I'll probably do that throughout the week as the curls age. But I'm just gonna go ahead and stretch my hair. I do decide to put a little bit of oil on the section before stretching it, and that's just the Olaplex oil. I believe it also doubles as a heat protectant, so it does provide a little bit of a sealant to my hair while also doubling as a heat protectant for stretching my hair, because I do like to use heat to stretch my hair. And I use the Dyson. I do the fan on the lowest setting, and for the back of my hair where the curls are a little bit tighter and can withstand a little more heat, I do my hair on the second heat temperature. And then as I move towards the front of my hair where the curl pattern is a little bit looser, a little bit more susceptible to heat damage, is when I go to just one notch on the heat option, and that's just to try to avoid as much heat damage as possible, since I'm already starting out with a little bit that I need to start transitioning out. And as I am stretching my hair, you'll notice that I'm mainly using the tension method and applying the heat to my roots. And that's because that's the newest hair less likely to have heat damage. As I mentioned earlier, it's something that I'm trying to avoid, and I'll mainly hold my ends taut, so this allows the roots to be as straight as possible while also preserving the curls at the end, where you will mainly see, since the hair above it will be covering the roots and any other sections that I choose to elongate. And then after I stretch a section, I just go ahead and put it into a low puff with a satin ponytail, and that's just so that while the curls are cooling, they don't immediately stretch back up and take away all of the effort of stretching it in the first place. So this is the final look of the hairstyle. I was really happy with how it came out, and it's always just really funny to me to see how much the hair grows when you stretch it, and it gives me the volume and movement that I really like. So thank you for watching, and if you have any helpful tips or questions or suggestions for additional videos, please leave them down below. Thanks.